Well, good morning, my dear ones. Goodness gracious, we're going to start some new lessons all about North America. The introduction. North America is the third largest continent in the world by size, taking up approximately 16.5% of the Earth's total land area. This continent has coastal areas on the Arctic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean Sea. Even though the continent is such a large landmass, it has a considerably smaller population density than Africa or Asia. This is mostly because there is so much land in the cold north and fewer people live there. When we think about North America, we often tend to think about Canada and the United States. Sometimes we think of Mexico too, but then we stop. Many adults even think North America, Central America, the Caribbean, and South America are all different, or that Central America and the Caribbean are part of South America. However, North America actually contains all of what we consider Central America. While there are some people that will disagree that the Caribbean is part of the North American continent, most credible sources list the Caribbean island nations and Greenland as part of North America. When we add up all of the countries in North America, there are 23 countries, not just the three that are the largest and most well known. Are you excited to learn about this incredible continent? If you've been with us on any of our Connecting Continent adventures already, you will notice that every unit is a little different. I hope that this has kept it interesting for you. It certainly has for us. In this unit, we are going to study the three largest countries for more than one lesson in North America. We will then use the rest of the lessons for individual countries that are mostly located in Central America or the Caribbean. Well, there's an extension activity here, kids. Get out an atlas, a map, or a globe, or look up a world map online and find North America. Notice that it is entirely in the northern hemisphere. That means that it is all located north of the equator. North America is the largest continent that is located in only one hemisphere. Can you figure out what other continents are located in only one hemisphere? Now, habitats and ecosystems. Mom will be able to explain that to you, I'm sure, but it might say so here, so let's keep reading. North America includes habitats and ecosystems that are perhaps as vast and diverse as possible. From Arctic tundra to coral reef, from desert to tropical rainforest, North America has a climate for every preference on the planet. The northernmost regions of the continent are home to only the toughest of animals and people that are experts at surviving cold, long, dark winters. This harsh climate is inhospitable, which means you can't live there, to most, and yet the people and animals that live here tend to enjoy colder temperatures and winter activities. As you travel south through the continent, you will encounter boreal forests, vast mountain ranges, temperate rainforests, grasslands, deserts, tropical rainforests, and everything in between. With all these naturally occurring habitats and ecosystems, it will come as no surprise that there are many different types of animals that make their home on this continent and in the waters surrounding it. The gray whale is an excellent example of an animal that takes advantage of the vast diversity of North America. These whales are well known for their migrations, which means they travel from north to south every year. In fact, their migration is the longest migration of any mammal in the whole world, at 12,000 to 14,000 miles, round trip along the western coast of North America. These amazing creatures like to spend the winter along the warm Mexican coast, giving birth to their calves under the beautiful Mexican sun. But in the summer, They prefer to go the cold water of the Arctic Sea, so they migrate all the way along the coast, feasting on their favorite food source. Would you travel that far for food? Unbelievable! These creatures, with their ability to live both in warm Mexican waters and cold Arctic waters, are truly amazing. And they are the only one of the incredible species we will encounter here in North America. Hold on tight as we begin to explore the ecosystems and animals of North America. Okay, children, there's another activity break. Pick one of the habitats or ecosystems mentioned above. Look up what animals live in that ecosystem in North America. If you want to really dive in, make a visual diagram or list of the animals. So, history and culture. North America has a long and rich history. It is generally believed that the first people came from Eurasia and traveled across a land bridge that was once across the Bering Strait between what is today known as Alaska and Siberia. The Bering Strait theory is that after crossing, people migrated south and organized themselves into the different indigenous cultures that we see across North America and South America today. The different indigenous cultures, indigenous kids means that's the place that they come from. That's they're in the land. Mommy might have to explain that a little bit more. Anyways, the Bering Strait theory is that after crossing, people migrated south and organized themselves into the different indigenous cultures that we see across North America and South America today. The different indigenous cultures strongly reflect the landforms and ecosystems that were available to them as they migrated. This produced indigenous cultures that varied from region to region as they became masters of their environment. Despite their differences, all indigenous cultures have a strong emphasis on working together with the land to provide for the people. This allowed them to work in harmony with natural rhythms and find ways to survive in even the most harsh environments. Along with this beautiful and rich history of the indigenous peoples, we see a history of colonization that has touched the nations of North America for better or for worse. Despite their differences, the Europeans brought many things to the indigenous peoples that were traded and made their lives easier. But the history of colonization is a messy one, with much room for human carelessness and even cruelty. As we study the nations of North America, we will experience incredible people and cultures that make it the beautiful mosaic that it truly is. These 20 lessons should be a wild ride learning about these amazing places and the people that live here. Food. Just like the diverse ecosystems in North America, the food is very diverse from one region to another. In the north, you will find a diet largely based on large Arctic mammals like seals, whales, caribou, and moose. In the south and Caribbean nations, you will find a diet rich in fresh produce all year long. North America has a massive variety of foods that are a delightful representation of the local cultures that you will encounter as you travel throughout the continent. You will find cultures whose staple diet consists of meat and cultures who eat very little meat but lots of beans and rice. The past traditional cultures of Canada and the northern United States relied on just a few staple ingredients that stored well through the long cold winters until they could grow fresh foods again. The regions to the south have traditionally grown fresh food year-round. Of course, today, most of North America receives a large majority of their food from the grocery store. So the selection and availability of fresh produce has become much more easily accessible in recent years, even in the northern regions of the continent. So, students, It's time to work in your notebooks. Go ahead and listen to Mom. I'm Granny Patty, and I love you. We'll be talking about lesson 1 as soon as tomorrow. Be good to your parents. Be nice to each other. Bye-bye.